High above the ground, far beyond the reach of shadows and strife, where the winds whisper ancient secrets and the clouds drift endlessly across the vast blue sky, there existed a world untouched by conflict. Here, time moved slowly and life was filled with grace. It was a peaceful kingdom built upon wings, where freedom reigned and danger seemed like a distant story. For generations, they soared untouched by the darkness below, believing that war was a thing of the earth and would never reach their heights. Upon the highest peaks, where the air grew thin and the view stretched endlessly, the eagles reigned supreme. They were the undisputed masters of the heavens, magnificent symbols of absolute power, piercing vision, and unchallenged dominance. With wings that spanned wide like shields and eyes that could see the smallest movement from miles above, they were kings of all they surveyed. Merely sensing their presence was enough to command total silence across the skies, for all creatures knew that in their domain, the law was written in flight and fury. Yet, as the skies darkened and shadows gathered within the heart of the storm, they arrived. The hawks descended, cutting through the wind with terrifying speed. They were built differently, swifter than thought, their senses honed to a deadly edge, and their hunger insatiable. They were predators who knew no limit. They did not come to negotiate, nor did they desire harmony. They rejected peace entirely. Their ambition was absolute and cold. They did not want to share the heavens. They wanted to own it. It started not with a roar, but with a single, deliberate act of defiance. One shadow, bold and unyielding, sliced through the air, crossing the invisible line that had stood for ages. It was a trespass, a violation of the sacred boundaries meant to keep the peace. He did not turn back. He did not hesitate. It was a silent challenge, loud and clear, hanging heavy in the wind, an insult to their power that simply could not be ignored. The great eagles spoke with voices like thunder, issuing a final, stern warning. They commanded them to turn back, to leave these sacred heights, or face the full, unbridled wrath of the skies. They expected fear, they expected hesitation. But the hawks did not flinch, nor did they show any sign of turning away. They had not flown all this way to simply turn tail and run. They came with steel in their hearts and fury in their wings, and they had absolutely no intention of retreating. And in that instant, the harmony of the heavens was broken forever. The sky itself seemed to shatter into 1,000 pieces, exploding into violent chaos. Wings beat against wings in a frenzy of motion. Talons struck with deadly precision, tearing at flesh and feather. The air grew thick with dust and fury. There was no turning back now. The great war above the clouds had truly begun. The hawks descended like living arrows, piercing the wind with blinding speed and deadly precision. They moved with a savage agility, striking suddenly from the blind spots, swift and merciless, aiming to cripple and kill before their prey could even react. They were the storm made flesh, relentless and sharp. But the eagles stood firm, the unshakable mountains of the sky. They did not merely fight, they unleashed raw, primal power. With wings that beat like rolling thunder and talons forged strong enough to crush bone, they met the assault with a force that was absolute and unmatched. It was a brutal collision of agility against might, a battle where speed clashed with endurance, and every single strike shook the very foundations of the heavens. One by one, the mighty warriors of the sky were torn from the clouds. Eagles and hawks alike fell, their powerful wings failing them, their final cries drowned out by the howling gale and the fury of battle. Lifeless bodies plummeted down from the heights, while soft feathers drifted slowly through the air like mournful, white snow falling upon a battlefield. The vast open sky, once a realm of peace, freedom, and endless blue, was twisted into something dark and terrible. It had become a chilling graveyard suspended in the wind, a haunting monument scattered with broken wings and lost glory. The beauty of the heavens was gone, replaced only by the tragic silence of destruction. Even the storm could not stop them. Thunder roared, but the war only grew louder. The heavens themselves seemed to weep, dark clouds churning like ink spilled into water. Lightning split the sky open, casting jagged, white light upon the chaos below, only to plunge everything back into terrifying shadow a moment later. Rain lashed against armor and flesh alike, turning the air thick and heavy. Yet the clash of steel and the shrieks of battle rose above the fury of nature. One by one, the noble warriors were struck down. They fell not in silence, but with defiance burning in their eyes until the very end. Their cries were instantly swallowed by the howling gale, lost forever in the roar of the wind. With a sickening thud and the snap of wood and bone, bodies plummeted from the heights, tumbling uncontrollably through the empty air. From the highest peak, piercing through the veil of storm and shadow, the Eagle King descended. He did not merely fly. He fell like a force of nature itself, unstoppable and absolute. His wings spanned wide enough to block the light, radiating an aura of pure authority and power. He had watched his people fall, and now his patience was gone. He came not to negotiate nor to warn, but to finish it. The final reckoning had arrived, and he was ready to end the war with his own claws. And rising from the heart of the raging tempest, emerging from the darkness and lightning, came the Hawk Commander. He was a figure forged in fire and blood, his body scarred and hardened by countless wars. Every feather, every talon spoke of violence and victory. He was not born to follow, but to dominate. Driven by an insatiable hunger for power and a burning ambition to conquer, he rose to meet the challenge, ready to claim the sky as his own. Two mighty rulers stood face to face, separated only by the rushing wind. Two kings with one single destiny. Only one could remain master of the endless blue. There was no more words, no more warnings. With a deafening roar, they lunged at each other. The impact was cataclysmic, wings beating against wings, talons locking in deadly grip. The force of their collision was so immense, it felt as if the very heavens trembled, and the stars themselves shook in fear. And then, the chaos suddenly ceased. The fighting stopped, the flapping wings fell still, and the savage cries faded into nothingness. A heavy, absolute silence descended upon the clouds. There was no movement left, no breath, no life. Only the cold wind continued to blow, sweeping through the empty space, gently carrying away the dust, the feathers, and the haunting memory of all that was lost. The few who remained alive did not cheer, nor did they raise their heads in triumph. They stood amidst the ruin, broken and changed forever. They were not victors who had won a prize. They were merely witnesses left behind to stare at the devastation. They looked upon the empty sky and understood the terrible truth. All this destruction, all this blood, was the heavy price paid for nothing but pride. And as the golden sun finally sinks below the horizon, painting the clouds in shades of blood and ash, darkness begins to claim the world. The day of battle is over, but the answer remains elusive. High above the silence, a single, heavy question hangs in the air, drifting with the wind through the endless sky. In the emptiness that remains, it echoes loudly. When the kingdoms have fallen, and all is turned to ruin, who truly rules? When everything has been lost. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Don't forget to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with your friends. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe and join the journey.